this is a society that's kind of built on how much money do your parents make, kind of influences how much money you make. Yeah, there are ways you can break out of that, but it's very unlikely. It's almost impossible in some cases. I think, what is it? There's like a statistics and it talks about like exactly the likelihood of you moving out of kind of like the class that your parents are in.
Right. I mean, it's all just a mindset, you know. You can project yourself from, you know, past whatever your current circumstances are. And maybe the reason it's hard for people to do that is the people around them might not really motivate them to do that.
And something that I also kind of believe too is, yeah, the opportunity to learn and educate yourself. If you don't have the financials, or for example, my case, I'm very privileged to have like a dad who's in finance, so he can give me advice on what it's like.
I tell my parents know that I invest. They kind of are upset about that, right?
Really, yeah.
They don't invest, so they see me doing it and they're instantly skeptical. You know, they're discouraging me to do it. You know, and I've made money doing it.
All right, versus my dad who's been telling me to go invest. You know, save my money to invest it. You know, try out the market. I'm young now, so I can do risky stuff.
Right.
Giving me advice on what it's like to be someone in business.
See, you're lucky because your dad's giving you advice, but he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
My parents give me advice. They've never read a financial book in their life.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just looking at it that way, it's honestly alarming, especially given the fact that we do live. I think both of us too. We live in kind of like. Look, now compare that to people that live in rural America who have no clue about anything. At least you have the technology where you can find those resources. That you know that you even have classes that taught you what investing was. Look at someone who doesn't even know what the word investing means.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to invest in themselves?
Right. It's a good point.
Yeah. So I feel like the opportunity to learn, educate themselves, it all comes down to your parents. Kind of the school system you're at.
Some people our age just refuse to invest at all.
Oh yeah.
I know one of the reasons is sometimes it's that people claim that it's kind of moral. You know, why would I invest in these big corporations?
Oh yeah, no. There's definitely a amount of people that are kind of like that, but it
doesn't make sense. Because of course the money's not going to the business; it's going to the person that's selling the shares.
So this is what's funny, and I'm not sure if this happened recently. So, I'm not sure, are you aware of Ricky Gervais?
I am aware of him.
So, he made a comment in the Golden Globes. Not sure if you saw this.
I've seen it, yeah.
And it's honestly, it's actually crazy, and I think, I thought he was very correct about it. So, he was talking about, how Apple TV. So Apple recently released a streaming kind of thing like Netflix or Hulu, and they were talking about, and it's like about doing the right thing, or being more morally correct,
right,
per se. And he was saying how ironic coming from Apple, who uses child labor or uses sweat factories in Asia to get their stuff done. All these TV actors and actresses may say, oh, I support doing the right thing, or I believe in a good cause, but they're working for these companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, all these companies that are using these sweat factories to, get their products across. So what Ricky Gervais was saying too, a lot of them aren't aware. A lot of them believe that they are, the term woke comes to mind, where they're knowledgeable about what's going on in the world, yet they're working for these horrible companies that treat people like utter garbage and have no respect for human life. So he was saying if they do win an award, to shut up and don't make a comment and don't try to make a point across because you have no clue what it's like. And I think he's right. It's kind of hard for celebrities to make kind of political statements when they're so influential on, young minds, or on social media, or on people in general. Yet they look at where they live in. Beverly Hills, gated kind of buildings, these houses, enormous houses where, what happens to us middle class or what happens to the lower class doesn't affect them at all. what happens in these sweat factories, that's fine. They'll just buy it anyways. Right. It's fine if there's a tax on it. They'll still buy it. If there's an enormous tax on that kind of stuff, it hits the middle class harder.
They're not the rich. I don't think the rich are afraid of these tax increases. They're not paying them.
Yeah. And
if you increase the taxes on these big corporations,
they'll still find a way to get around it, I feel.
Right. They're gonna vote. They're just gonna vote for the next pay raise for their executives,
or even super PACs. How super PACs influence candidates, political candidates, that kind of stuff.